Sassy Eliot. Hank. Sassy Eliot. Girl.
It's the WIP Afternoon Show at Ike, Spike, and Fritz. Thanks for spending your potential snow day with us. Eliot Shorr-Parks joins us. Hey, Eliot.
Man, I'm not going to lie. I kind of hate how catchy and awesome that song is.
Yeah.
Like, every time I hear it, I like it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a hit.
It's a good
That's
one.
what happens.
It's a good hate lesson.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Eliot,
yeah.
Eliot, news that breaks just as you're joining us, this per Tom Pelissero. Former Giants interim coach Mike Kafka is joining the Lions in a high-ranking offensive staff role per sources, not offensive coordinator. Kafka, 38, has been a finalist for multiple head coach jobs in recent years. Now an opportunity to learn from one of the best with Dan Campbell in Detroit. Are you surprised that he took a job that wasn't an OC job and he was listed as a candidate here?
Yeah. So I think this is the first one where you can probably point and go, they didn't want him. I do know going into the process, he's someone they liked. I don't know how his interview went. Apparently, it doesn't seem like it went great. I don't think he would take that job over the Eagles job. Like the other candidates, I think are not attracted to the job. Like the young up-and-coming names who in a year could have legitimate head coach offers. Like I think you could point to them and say, yeah, they weren't interested in the position. I find it hard to believe Mike Kafka, who's from here, who, you know, it's a clear better job than whatever he's doing with the Lions. Like, he's a coordinator. I find it hard to believe he would want that job over this job. But maybe he did.
Yeah, you know, and we're trying to navigate through all this because we have so little information. All we know is was interested, doesn't have the job, right? And this is with all these situations. I would, if I were to think from Kafka's point of view or someone in his spot, what is better? We know what's going to pay him more, right? And we know what has a bigger title, but we also don't know if he's thinking in the trajectory of his career. He could think, and I'm again just trying to think it out if he didn't want the job. He could think, well, I could go to this Lions position. There's no blame there. I will grow as a coach, and maybe this is better for my long-term future than going to Philly. And if I can't fix it right away, then I'm in New York where it looks like I didn't do anything, and then I'm in Philly where it looks like I failed as well.
Yeah. I mean, you know, as you think through it, like you only get so many cracks normally at the job. If he takes one that he doesn't think he'll succeed at, then maybe. Yeah. But I mean, I think the reality is, you know, as we kind of go through all the candidates and who wants it, who doesn't, the reality is it looks bad, right? Like no matter what the truth is, and only, you know, like 4 people in NovaCare truly know what the truth is right now in terms of who they want. But you know, you look at all the articles like on national websites, the way it's being discussed, like this isn't going over well for the Eagles. Like the perception is nobody wants the job. Now, I don't think that's the truth. I'm sure if they wanted to, they could probably hire somebody today, right? Like Matt Nagy, and just kind of end this whole process. But it's not been a good few weeks for the public perception of the Eagles.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Declan Doyle, who is the offensive coordinator with the Bears but does not call plays, he decided to stay with the Bears. Charlie Weis Jr., who they were interested in as well, is going to stay at LSU. Do you think anything ever comes out as to why these guys aren't the head coach? Like, all we're doing is supposing, right? We don't know if they wanted Declan Doyle. We don't know if they wanted Charlie Weis Jr. We certainly do know that they're not offensive coordinators. Do you think we ever get any sort of insight as to why these things happened the way they did?
Well, Declan Doyle will talk eventually. I mean, he's a coordinator, so he'll have press conferences, and he could be asked then whether he'll tell the truth there. I don't know. I mean, I think from their perspective, if you have power, and in this case they have it, right, that they're a commodity that teams around the league want, you can be really selective as to where you go. So I think, you know, the truth is somewhere in the middle. Like the Eagles have been attached to 14 candidates now. So clearly they are taking advantage of an opportunity to interview a lot of people. And someone like Declan Doyle, even if, let's just say, for argument's sake, they didn't actually want to hire him. Well, you get a chance to interview him now. You kind of like build the relationship. You make a connection there. And then in a year, you never know, right? You never know what the job situation will be with the Eagles. And then you figure it out. Yeah, a year. So I think that there is a benefit to meeting with a lot of people. Like, I think there is. Whether or not you think it's just because no one wants it, like, there is a benefit to having all of these
Are we going to hire an
interviews.
OC anytime soon, man?
I think they'll have one by the end of the week.
I mean, my goodness, interviewing all these people for what? Like, what is this? Like, what are we doing here?
Well, there is benefits to interviewing these people.
I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure. But those benefits must clearly outweigh the perception that's being thrown about this job and whether or not it's an attractive job for people. So while going through all these interviews and everybody's deciding to either not take the job or stay where they are, it's not a good look for the Eagles.
I 100% agree. And I also think it's an especially bad look publicly, and so at least it's going to be this way for Nick, right? Like, you look at how this is being portrayed, and it is no one wants to be like the Eagles offensive coordinator under Nick Sirianni. Now, like, I don't think that's the truth. I don't think that's why people don't want the job, but I think that's how it's going to end up being portrayed. So I agree with you. Like, now, I don't think they should just hire someone just to end the perception. Like, it's already there. It's been a few weeks. You might as well just see your process through. But you're right. Like, the public perception isn't good.
Yeah, we started this at the top of the show, E. They should have just kept Kevin Patullo as the OC.
You don't have to tell me twice. You know, he was not the problem. Like, he wasn't. And I'll say this too. Like, if you look at their interview process right now, we went into this saying they're going to hire somebody that's a veteran play caller, and maybe they still will. If you look at who's left over, Matt Nagy's called plays, Brian Daboll's called plays, Jim Bob Cooter has called plays, right? So, like, they very well could still end up with someone that's called plays. But if you look at who they've interviewed, it's not been overwhelmingly guys that have called plays. It's been about 50-50, and even some of the guys that have called plays have only done it for a year. And then if you look at who they've hired, like Patullo had no play call experience. Brian Johnson had no play call experience. The last 4 head coaches that they've hired for their offense have not had play calling experience. So, like, they've not really prioritized it when they actually make the hire. So, yeah, I mean, I think that ultimately they probably will hire someone that has play call experience, but it's definitely different than what we thought going into it. So you would have been better off just sticking with Patullo, who at least has done it for a year already, has been in the building, knows all the problems, and, would have a better chance of fixing them, in my opinion.
And certainly doesn't have a problem working with Nick.
That's for sure.
So, yeah.
Well, he might now.
Yeah.
Prior,
the only thing that I think is evident from here is if what they're doing is talking to as many people as possible, there are a lot of these type of people they could have talked to last year before they hired Patullo, at least in an information gathering spot. I'm never going to let that go. You can't hire an OC without interviewing other people.
And they're definitely doing what you wanted. Like, no question about it. Like, they are interviewing a lot.
Yeah, to the nth degree.
Yes.
Yeah, they're taking it to the extreme.
Can we talk about the 2 guys that are new in the search? First one is Frank Smith. Can you give some insight as to him? So, again, I think we've reached a point of the process where I'm not going to sit here and sell any candidate as exciting, right? Like, but I do think there's a lot to like about him. He's coached under Mike McDaniel. He's coached under Sean Payton. His specialty is the offensive line. I know that raises questions with Jeff Stoutland. That might be a different discussion. But I think we all agree the running game and the offensive line were not good enough last year. So I like the idea of bringing in somebody whose specialty is that, whether that's to work with Stoutland, whether that's to replace him, whatever. But, like, I like that background. And you look at what else he's done. Everywhere he's been in every position he's coached, he's developed Pro Bowl players. So I can already hear Nick at the introductory press conference talking about how this guy, teaches fundamentals and he develops, and that's what coaches are supposed to do. So obviously some downfalls, right? He's never called plays. So we just talked about that. But I do think the fact that he comes from the offensive line is a positive. He just doesn't have much experience in the passing game, which is also a clear thing that needs worked. And then the other one is Jerrod Johnson?
Yeah, so Jerrod Johnson, someone at the beginning of all this, I thought they should have interest in and would have interest in. They've interviewed him before. He played quarterback in the NFL, not at like a starter level, but he was in the NFL on and off for about 7 years. He was with C.J. Stroud and Bobby Slowick in Houston when Stroud had his big year. What I don't like about him is, A, he's never called plays, so there's that. And then B, when they fired Bobby Slowick and had Jerrod Johnson in the building, they did not promote him to offensive coordinator, and they hired from the outside. Now, they could be wrong. I'm just saying the Texans had him in the building and decided he wasn't the solution. So I think it would be like similar to Bobby Slowick, and you're getting that kind of background, but probably without as exciting of a hire.
So the Eagles lost Christian Parker, who is now the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. They promoted Joe Kasper into his role as D-backs coach. What should we know about Joe Kasper?
Vic Fangio really likes him. So he was with the Eagles in 21 and 22 for that team that went to the Super Bowl. And then Vic Fangio hired him away to Miami in 23. When Fangio came back to the Eagles came to the Eagles in 24, he came with him. So he's someone Fangio has always liked. He obviously worked in the secondary last year with the safeties, but, you're kind of working with all the positions in a way when you're working with that back 4 or 5. So, they get some continuity there. And look, Fangio's going to get who he wants. And if that's who he wanted, then that's who he's going to get.
So, Eliot, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl this year, he will have won more regular season games than any quarterback in football over the last 2 years. He will also have a Super Bowl on his resume. And let's say, for example, the Seattle defense has a great performance, but Sam Darnold ends up winning Super Bowl MVP. Is he then the second best quarterback in football?
He certainly has an argument for it.
Well, would he be?
Right now. Now, the difference would be he has not been to 2 Super Bowls like Jalen Hurts has. He's not won over a 4-year span the way Jalen Hurts has. So
he also hasn't had. He also wouldn't have had his wide receivers complaining about him. He also would have never had the 29th ranked passing offense in the NFL. Like he right. There's a lot of different factors there.
Right. Those things obviously though matter way less than what I'm talking about, which is going to the Super Bowl and winning games. So
also throwing for touchdowns and throwing for yards. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, those things matter less than winning.
So is he the second? If he wins Super Bowl MVP, is he the second best quarterback or best quarterback in football?
I'd have to look at it. I think he'll probably have a top 5 argument. I'm not sure he'd be ahead of Jalen, but he certainly would have a strong argument for it. So yeah, I think he would have.
So winning the Super Bowl made Jalen, even though their pass offense during the year.
You're ignoring the rest of the argument. Jalen winning the Super Bowl and winning Super Bowl MVP mattered for sure, and obviously impacted his ranking. But so did going to 1 2 years prior and winning consistently at like a 75% clip.
Well, but Sam Darnold over the last 2 years will have won more regular season games than any quarterback in football for 2 different teams, also throwing for 4,000 yards each year.
Yeah, but what matters more, 2 years or 4 years?
Well, I don't know if you're getting worse every year or if you're getting better every year, what matters more?
Right. Again, I'm acknowledging that Darnold might be ahead of Jalen. But what I'm saying is that when Jalen went up to number 2, it wasn't off of 1 year.
So if Darnold wins the Super Bowl this year, is he ahead of Jalen?
I would not put him ahead of Jalen, but I think he would have a strong argument to be right there next.
Even if he wins the Super Bowl? He's not ahead of Jalen.
Jalen has also won a Super Bowl, but he's been to 2, and he makes the playoff. Well, that matters. It just matters more.
Okay. So Aaron Rodgers also ahead of, where's Aaron Rodgers on the list, who has also won a Super Bowl?
Well, he'd be pretty low because he made the Super Bowl 15 years ago. So I think there's a slight difference between that and 2 years ago.
Okay. And then final thing, Sam Darnold also going to the Super Bowl as the quarterback with the most turnovers in football. Does that affect your view of turnovers in any way?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, look.
Even though they won more games than any team in football, had the number 1 ranked defense and number 3 ranked offense.
Right. Okay. But it's an outlier to me. If you want to look at, I wonder how many times the quarterback with the most turnovers in football has gone to even the championship game. I would guess it's not many times. I would guess most times.
Must speak to how good Sam Darnold is.
He's good. I agree. Look, I was wrong about Darnold. He's better. Give him credit. I didn't think they would do this. But I would bet you 95% of the quarterbacks that lead the league in turnovers do not accomplish what he did. So, no, it does not change my opinion on prioritizing turnovers.
And so real quick, Jalen would be ahead of Sam Darnold because they went to the Super Bowl in 2022.
No, there's way more to it. Jalen would be ahead of Darnold because he's accomplished what Darnold's accomplished, winning the Super Bowl. Yep. He's accomplished more than Darnold has over the past 4 years, and that matters. He has a longer track, he has a longer body of work. But I'm saying I think Darnold will be close, but I think Jalen still deserves to be ahead of him.
Okay, thanks for the call, Eliot.
I thought we were going to talk about Dome and everything.
Oh, I think congratulations. I am on your side. I think football is all of the stadiums should be in Dome, specifically Philadelphia. Yeah. I'm with you.
It was awesome to see the rest of the country agree with me for once.
Yep.
I didn't see that.
I think the debate still rages on.
I didn't see the rest of the country agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Wow. All right. Get out of here. The Go Birds podcast, wherever you get your podcast, coming out every day as the Eagles continue this offensive coordinator.
He also said, which I didn't want to get into it with him,
that
Bill Belichick is not an all-time great coach.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
He's been on that one. He thinks he wins that one.
Yes. He also said that because McVay lost yesterday, it's a good thing for CEO head coaches, even though the head coach of the Seahawks is not a CEO head coach. He calls the defense.
Which privately he said calling the defense is not as important as calling the offense, and much easier.
Okay, yeah. I want him to tell Vic that.
Wow.
Tell Vic Fangio that privately. I love that. I love you.
It's easier to call the offense than the defense.
215-592.
I was like, how do you even know that?
He has no idea. Well, remember he said he could be a GM of a football team because he's covered Howie Roseman.
Yep.
He's got a lot it takes.
He's a big fan of the right-hand man.
He is.
Getting put into a position they don't deserve.
Yep.